I hope you guys are in the mood for a slightly taboo romance vlog because today we're going to be reading Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas, and this book is a boyfriend's dad trope. Kind of spicy, kind of spicy. I started this book last night and I figured it was an interesting book to vlog, so I want to take you guys along the process. This isn't going to be like a sit with me and read type of video. I do just want to give you guys continuous updates of my thoughts. So I started it last night and I'm currently on page 45 on my Kindle. I'm about 10% in. In fact, I'm going to update it on my Goodreads right now because I want to make sure that I have it tracked. This book starts out rather fast-paced. Now, okay, let me backtrack first. I've heard a lot about Penelope Douglas before. She wrote Credence, which a lot of people have very mixed feelings about. She's also written a couple other taboo books, and this one, Birthday Girl, is I think one of her most popular, and I've seen a lot of people online read this. That being said, I haven't read anything by her, so I wanted to kind of dip my toes into her work. This one so far is, like I said, starting really fast-paced. We follow our main character, Jordan, who is a 19-year-old working at a bar in a supposedly, like, not small town, but not a big town either, just like a regular schmegular town. And she's dating this guy named Cole. Apparently she got off work early, 2 hours early, but he's not answering his phone and he's her ride, so she has to kill 2 hours. So she goes down the street to a movie theater to go catch an 80s flick. Now, one thing that's really funny about this is they're really emphasizing that she's an old soul by like really pushing the she's into 80s thing, which is kind of funny because with an age gap relationship like this one is, like I said, boyfriend's dad, you kind of want to close the gap a little bit by making her seem like an old soul. So it's an interesting character trait, but I can see why Penelope did this. She seems like a nice character in the 10% that I've read of her so far. Her boyfriend Cole seems nice enough, but he just seems very forgetful and lazy and, you know, not really a good boyfriend, which is the point because, like I said, it's not him that's a love interest, nuh-uh. And the dad, Pike, we have seen a bit of him before because they met at the movie theater. This is going to be a non-spoiler reading vlog, but just to be general about it, she like spilled her wine all over the floor, and so he helped her find her phone, and then he like got out of the way, and they eventually ended up sitting next to each other for the movie. Not in any like romantic way, just because there's a place to sit. They seemed to, you know, have good chat, whatever. Have good chat. I sound like someone on Love Island. Oh my god. Really chill meeting. They didn't know that she's dating his son, and that is quickly found out. So pretty simple rom-com writing. It's not anything deep, but it's entertaining. In the next chapter, she has now moved into his house because she and Cole are going to be staying together at his house. And again, not spoilery, but this happens at the very beginning, but basically they had an apartment before, but it was kind of getting hard to pay the rent, and then Cole actually got arrested for a minor thing like party disruptance, but the bail money was enough that they just don't want to have to pay for rent anymore. So for the duration of the summer, they're going to be staying at his dad's house, and hopefully they'll be able to buy a new apartment after the summer ends and they can like work and save up money, that kind of thing. But I say they, it's more like just Jordan, because Cole is not really being very supportive or helping out at all with the money issue. So I can definitely see the direction that this is headed. I mean, close proximity with both Cole and Pike for an entire summer is a great way to set up this kind of book, and not gonna lie, I'm excited. So I'll update you guys maybe tomorrow and I'll let you guys know my thoughts. The lighting in here is so not ideal, but I'm trying to like switch up my filming spots, so welcome to my bedroom. Oh, also wait, let me show you. Can you see over there? You probably can't even see it, right there. It's my new record player. I got it for my birthday. I already have a Dominic Fike album, of course. My parents also got me a Harry Styles album, so I'm set. But I wanted to update my thoughts on Birthday Girl. I got to 25% mark and it's going very well. I'm actually really enjoying this. Like, I was kind of worried that I'd be turned off by the age gap thing. I mean, I've read age gaps in the past. It's not anything new to me, but it also is not my favorite trope in the entire world for sure. That being said, this one is being executed rather well. So what has happened since I talked to you guys yesterday? Obviously there is the close proximity trope in this book because Jordan and Cole are now living with Cole's father, Pike, and so they literally are in the same house together. They're constantly either cooking or doing chores. Well, I always say they, I mean Jordan, because a problem in this book is that Cole is very much absent. So Cole has a strained relationship with his father, definitely some tension there. So he tries to avoid his father as much as possible. He is also out partying with his friends a lot, avoiding work shifts, which is not good when you need the money, and just not being a good overall boyfriend. But it's interesting too because although whenever we hear about Cole, he's being a very bad character and we don't like him, whenever he's interacting with Jordan, he seems like a sweet guy. I mean, there was one scene that I didn't love, but there's another scene where he came to the bar to just come check on her, and he just seemed like really nice and loving. Now, was it maybe overcompensating for the lack of time that he's been spending with her recently? Yeah, for sure. But you're kind of in Jordan's head thinking to yourself, like, he's a nice guy, we have history together. In fact, I actually have trauma bonding going together that's interesting, but also like, is he really the one for you, girl? No, he's not, but his dad could be. Anyway. The last thing I want to mention is that there is actually a lot of like feminism, I guess, in this book, which was a little unexpected. I'm here for it, trust. But basically, Jordan works at a bar, and then her older sister works at a strip club, and I think her older sister is like pretty confident in her job relatively, but the bar that Jordan works at, it's a different place, and it is not paying her nearly as much as she could make by working at the bar at the club that her sister works at. And her sister's boss has offered her a job, and she's declined it in the past, but she's thinking about doing it because obviously it'd be more money and she needs the money. So I'm okay with either route, whether she stays at the current bar or if she takes the job at the club, but she'd only be a bartender, not a dancer like her sister. But there's also a lot in this book about how women are perceived, which I think is interesting. There was a scene where she was doing the lawn outside and then she got hot, so she jumped in the pool, and then she got out and her shirt was like sticking to her boobs, and there was a creepo next door watching her basically. And so Pike sees this and runs outside and takes his anger out on the neighbor, on her, by telling her not to, you know, be exposed like that, which she's fully dressed, but she, you know, was in the pool. And then she literally like bites back at him and says, it's actually not my problem that he's looking. I'm fully clothed. It's also like our backyard. It's his problem for being the one looking and not my problem for the way that other people perceive me. Which I was just like, yeah, thank you. Thank you for making that clear in a book. Now, was it a little bit preachy? Sure. But I'm okay with that. I think it's an important point that needs to be made. And also, it's great that she can fight back against Pike and not just like submit to everything he says just because he's the older figure. Like, I like that she could be opinionated and make her point. So I do like her as a character. He definitely apologized for that situation and realized he was taking his anger out on the wrong person. So that's a good thing. Yeah, I'm really pleasantly surprised by this relatively normal romance book if you take away the part that he is her boyfriend's father. I don't know what that says about me that I'm enjoying this, but I am. Good morning, good morning. Quick little update today. I honestly don't have much to say, but I did get to the 60% mark last night and this morning, which is crazy. I thought it would take me much longer to finish this book, but I'm like flying through it, which is great. I'm like really enjoying it. It's like one of those books that when you really get into it, like you really get addicted to it and like you want to keep reading. When I first started was interested in it for sure, but I wasn't like really pulled in, but now I'm pulled in. It's really well paced, I feel like, because every chapter there's something happening. They do have longer chapters in my opinion compared to most books, and people usually associate shorter chapters with a faster paced book, but in my opinion, even though the chapters are longer, they are divided into sections and it just feels very relatively fast paced. So I'm enjoying it. I'm getting to the parts of the book now where it's harder to talk about it without spoiling things, so I'm going to try to just not say very much, and that's why it's going to be a shorter update. But I will say that we did finally get their first kiss, and I almost describe this book as a slow burn because obviously there's a lot of like tension and like angst and stuff because they're in the house together and they have an attraction for each other, but no one's really going out there and saying it. But also like it's kind of a longer book. It's like 440 pages, and for a contemporary romance that's on the longer side, and so having it take over 50%, so like over 200 to 25 pages to get to the first kiss is kind of a slow burn in my opinion. But I think if you have a reading goal, like a pages count number that you want to reach, you want a lot of longer-ish books but still fast-paced books, this is a great one to pick up because it is really fast-paced. Like there's no other way to put it, but I'm enjoying it a lot. So yeah, going really well. So we're back in this room for the outro of the video, and I just finished Birthday Girl. And I know this was supposed to be like a whole like, ooh, taboo romance, like it's so crazy. Honestly, this was nothing. It was really good. I really enjoyed it, but it wasn't anything crazy like I expected it to be. It was basically just a normal contemporary romance book. It just so happened that he was older than her. And this may be a little anticlimactic, but I was just like, it's fine, whatever. Okay, so a couple thoughts that I have to talk about. Number one, this book actually has 2 epilogues, which if you know anything about me, I am not an epilogue person. I always get like, boring, cringed out, move along kind of thing. It's always like a happy marriage or someone's pregnant or anything like that. This book does have happy ending, like, I mean, it's a contemporary romance, what are we surprised surprised about, but the fact that it had 2 epilogues was like, oh my goodness. But I did read through all of them. Like I said, even though this is a longer book, it's like over 400 pages for romance, I still felt like in general it was pretty fast paced. So whereas in some places I may have just skipped an epilogue because I'm just like tired of a book, in this case I did read it, I did enjoy it. It was a really nice and sweet ending to the book, I think. The other thing that I wanted to talk about that I was thinking about yesterday when I was at like the 75% mark, because at that point in like a forbidden contemporary romance, the 2 love interests are usually together, but they're maybe not like public and sharing about their relationship yet. So I was thinking in my head and I was like, there's a very, very, very fine line between a well-crafted forbidden romance book and heavy secondhand embarrassment, especially with the scenes when like they're trying to hide, but some people are like kind of noticing like there's a different energy between them. It's either really funny or really embarrassing, and there is no middle ground. It's like you one or the other. So I think for the most part in this book, this landed on the funny side, which I was very, very grateful for. I think I was really giggling at a couple of the quotes in here, and especially like Dutch was such a funny character. I'm not gonna spoil, but if you've read the scene where he comes into Pike's bathroom, y'all know. I'm just like, it's so funny. I liked that part. So I'm glad that it went one way and not the other, but I think it could have easily gone the other way. That being said, my one big qualm about this book was that there was a 3rd act miscommunication trope. As usual, I feel like so many just normal romance books are like that. I wish that people could be a little bit more creative with a 3rd act conflict that didn't have like a random breakup in the middle of it, but I guess with a conflict like this, that kind of makes sense that they have to think about age and different stages of their life and things like that. But overall, it was very good. I really enjoyed it. Pretty raunchy, but not as crazy as I expected it to be. I'm actually gonna give this book 4 stars. That may be a little surprising, I don't know. Like I said, it felt like a normal contemporary romance book. It didn't even feel like taboo or anything, so like, you know, it was good, I liked it. I will have my rating up on Goodreads and Storygraph where I track all of my books. If you want to follow me, I will follow you back, and they're both linked down below. This video was maybe a little bit boring because all I did was really update you guys, but like I said, I had a super busy week, so I couldn't really like vlog a lot during the week, but I hope you enjoyed. Let me know if you've read this book or if you want to read it now, if it's on your TBR, and as always, subscribe to my book channel. I have a really, really cool video coming out in 4 days. It took me so long to film, so keep an eye out for that if you subscribe, and I will see you in that video when it comes out. Have an amazing, amazing day. I love you so, so much, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!